After browsing the 10th edition top ITC tournament lists, I realized that the Changeling is the most allied unit in Warhammer 40k. Throughout the grim, dark tales of Warhammer 40k, the Changeling has left its mark on both heroes and villains. From sowing mistrust among the Adeptus Astartes to orchestrating the downfall of Imperial leaders and changing the course of entire campaigns. Its influence spans all factions, and currently in 10th edition, it is one of the most allied units in all of Warhammer. Let's break down why this 75-point Changeling is such a desirable ally with so many top Chaos, Thousand Suns, and Demon lists using its battle-changing abilities. The stat line for the Changeling is not that impressive, but that's not why you're taking him, so we'll cover it quickly just so we can get it out of the way. Movement of 6, toughness of 3, saving throw of 7, but we're not even caring about that. We really just care about his invulnerable save of 4, 5 wounds, leadership 7, 1 objective controlled. One thing the Changeling does come with is a fairly decent shooting attack. With 12-inch range, ignores cover, and torrent, a d6 shots from its infernal flames is pretty good. But if you were to overcharge it, causing the hazard keyword to appear, it becomes d6 plus 3 with damage of d3. This is a really good shooting attack and will make most opponents hesitate getting within that 12-inch range. Not the stat line of an auto-include style character, but again, his stat line totally doesn't matter. We are 100% just using his tricky abilities. Now, he's got some basic ones. Deep Strike, as all demons do, and Lone Operative, which means you cannot target him unless you are within 12, with the addition of Stealth, which means if you are targeting him, you are at a -1. The Changeling's cunning and strength doesn't end with mere illusion and fire. Dive into the mastery of psychological warfare and its abilities to exploit the insecurities and doubts of its adversaries. I'm talking, of course, about the ability Formless Horror. Each time an enemy unit wishes to select this model with a target of its attacks, that unit must first take a battle shock test. If the test is failed, in addition to being battle shocked, the enemy unit cannot target this model this phase. The reason why this is such a big swing in the game is the Changeling is usually a backline objective holder, and due to its lone operative ability, it's only targetable if you are within 12 inches, which often means your opponent would need to do a sneaky outflank maneuver or a deep strike. The failure of the battle shock test due to Formless Horror means you cannot target the Changeling at all, wasting all shots declared to the Changeling and leaving your units out in the open. But a failed battle shock test and making the Changeling untargetable means so much more. Failing battle shock affects your unit's objective control, dropping it to 0, and makes them untargetable by stratagems. By keeping you from using any stratagems, it locks you out from rerolling those also useful charge ranges on those outflanking or deep striking units, which makes the risk of doing such an action a calculated gamble. These effects make the Changeling a frustrating and difficult to shift unit, and targeting the Changeling is literally a dice roll to see if you're going to be able to attack it or if you're going to hinder your own unit's effectiveness. And knocking your opponent's objective control to 0 in their turn is a risk many players won't take, especially if they are trying to complete a few of the secondaries that require end-of-turn objective holding. This means you can calculate when your best time to surge the Changeling forward to affect the battlefield. Now, if you are not using the Changeling as an ally and are a Chaos Demons purist, you not only have my unshakable respect, but you get a little bonus with it as well. Failing a battle shock test in your Shadow of Chaos forces your opponent to take d3 mortal wounds. And within your Shadow of Chaos, it also applies a -1 to that test, adding injury to insult. The ever-shifting Changeling has another ability, and it's a stacking redundancy to Formless Horror, called Mischief and Confusion. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select one enemy unit within 12 and visible to this model. Roll 1d6. On a 2 to 5 until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll, and on a 6, the enemy unit is not eligible to shoot at all. So let's break this down for a second. Not only do you need to be within 12 inches due to lone operative, you have to pass a battle shock test required to shoot the changeling due to Formless Horror. There is a chance that you won't even be able to shoot at all. This is a powerful ability when used on most units, but it does not discriminate what unit could potentially be targeted, which means an opponent's knight or even a Bane blade is 100% on the table for getting caught by Mischief and Confusion. A 1 in 6 chance isn't great, but to completely shut down an opponent's shooting is powerful. When you think about the fact that they might be targeting the changeling with shooting attacks anyways, and could potentially fail a battle shock due to Formless Horror, it makes the changeling a supremely frustrating opponent, and with bad dice rolls, he could be potentially untargetable and unkillable. Unsurprisingly, the changeling is a favored pawn of Tzeentch, the Changer of Ways. This god of sorcery and manipulation delights in the paradoxes and schemes that permeates through the 41st millennium. How do you feel the rules of this model are reflected on the battlefield? Are these rules lore appropriate? Is it fair? I feel these rules on a whole are very strong, and the changeling's ability to manipulate has often altered the course of battle and even entire campaigns. And this is reflected on the tabletop with his powerful and tricky abilities. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for the algorithm. And please check out these other Warhammer 40k related channels that are doing incredible work.